Hi, I'm Ellen Gormley and welcome to my channel. Today we're crocheting with a double-ended crochet hook. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are crocheting with a double-ended crochet hook. This is a J hook and I'm using a hook that's slightly bigger than what I normally would use for this worsted weight yarn. So I would probably usually use an I hook for this yarn. It is a little bit thicker than typical worsted weight, but it's just the way this particular yarn is, and that's fine. Crocheting with a double-ended hook is very, very, very similar to Tunisian. So check out my Tunisian tutorials as well for a variety of stitches. So I've chained a bunch, I didn't even count, and I'm pulling up a loop in the back ridge of each chain across. Now, Tunisian crochet and crochet with a double-ended hook are very similar, but they are different. Crocheting with a double-ended hook, you turn. You generally use two colors. It reduces the amount of curl, and it's reversible. It's not exactly reversible. It will look different on each side, but it looks presentable on each side. So here we go. So once you've loaded up loops, that, for the rule of thumb, is that's when you turn. So it's all loaded up with loops. This is when you turn, so I'm going to turn my hook and then slide. Turn and slide, turn and slide. Okay, so we'll put that down. We'll grab our second color, place a slip knot on the other end of the hook, just like this. And now we will work off the loops, or bind off, or return pass, a little bit differently than Tunisian for this first row with adding the color. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through two loops on the hook instead of just one. So yarn over and pull through two loops on the hook all the way across. Now it's kind of a dense fabric to use a double-ended crochet hook. This is also called crow hook, crochet, and crochet on the double. Those are brand names from different companies, but it's all crocheting with a double-ended hook. So we do not turn yet because we do not have the hook loaded up with loops. Today I'm just doing a Tunisian knit stitch with it, so I'm pulling up a loop in each bar across. You need to follow your pattern for your crochet with a double-ended hook pattern and see how they want you to do it. But for today we are stitching as if to Tunisian knit. Tunisian, of course, also called Afghan crochet. So I've got all my loops on the hook, and so it's time to turn. So when all the loops are there, that's your cue to turn. So I'm turning my hook to the other side and slide. Turn and slide, turn and slide. Okay, so the other color is here waiting, and so that's my cue to pick it up. And this time, since I'm not adding a new color, I'm going to go ahead and yarn over and pull through just one the first time, and yarn over and pull through two every time after that. You'll see that this fabric, this two color, it's going to be a dominant color on one side, and then the other side is going to be the other color. Oops, I dropped it. It's okay. I'm going to tighten up that blue loop. Tighten that up there. There we go. Okay, I do not turn because I don't have a bunch of loops on yet. So let's go ahead and pick up stitches. So as if to Tunisian knit all the way across. Of course, there's a variety of stitches, and a variety of stitches that can be made with this technique. And once the hook is loaded up, what do? We turn and slide. Okay. And then the next color is waiting. Now I am getting this tangled a little bit, so I will just rotate the skeins of yarn so that that doesn't happen. Pull the little tail there and yarn over and pull through one. So let's make a few rows. I'm going to pause the video and then I'll show you what it looks like after a few more rows are done. But in general, we're going to keep on going with this technique until you get the hang of it. If you're also already familiar with Tunisian crochet, this is going to be, a snap for you. It gets a little bit more complicated when it's time to interpret a specific pattern with a double-ended crochet hook. Remember, it's loaded up, so we turn and slide. But there aren't that many patterns out there for this technique, so I don't know that you're going to run across these patterns unless you go deliberately looking for them. This is making a very stretchy fabric, and I'm going to finish this little row here, tighten up, and you can see it's kind of stretchy, and on this side it's predominantly blue, this side it's predominantly the multicolor, and it's a very thick fabric. Okay, so let's see, finishing that row, but we're not turning yet because we don't have our hook loaded up. But I'm going to pause and show you a few more rows in just a moment. Okay, it's loaded up. So remember, what do we do? Turn and slide. Okay, I'm going to pause here and be right back. Well, you can't really tell, but I actually switched stitches about here. So it's a little bit more space between this row and this row. And what I did is, remember, I was Tunisian stitching as if to Tunisian knit. But then I changed my mind and started working in the gap under the horizontal bar, just like we would for the Tunisian fold stitch. And this way is a little bit tricky because you just have to remember to keep the stitch count accurate, because it gets confusing whether or not to go under that last vertical bar or not. I know I have 10 stitches, so I can count loops: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 10 is where I stop for this stitch. And then when it's loaded up, we slide and turn, or turn and slide rather. Also, another way to make sure that your yarn doesn't get tangled is to alternate which way you turn. Turn one way the first time, and then turn the opposite direction the other time. I generally forget to do that, so I end up just rotating my skeins of yarn. But that is one way to do it, is to turn one way for one row and then turn the opposite direction for the next row to keep the balls of yarn from tangling. But it's okay, whatever works, right? So this way, see, there's like no curl at all. It's very common for this last loop to get loosened, and you just tug on it a little bit. It is no big deal. Another advantage to crocheting with a double-ended hook is you can really vary the yarns that you use. So imagine for a moment if I had used a worsted weight yarn for one of the yarns, but I used a mohair yarn for the other one. Like, you would really see a big difference in texture, and it would really create some cool effects. So counting 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I know I'm on the right track because I had 10 stitches. When it's full, look how blue this side is. You're going to turn and slide, and look how white this side is. So it looks very much the same, but it's reversible. Like, it would be blue on one side and the variegated on the other. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on beginner crocheting with a double-ended hook. And keep track, please like and subscribe, and check out the Tunisian videos for the variety of stitches that can be made. Because this hook is small, you can make it in panels if you like, or you can get one of those really cool hooks that have the cables and put a hook on the other end and make really big projects. But generally, you're going to use a smaller hook because that's what's available. I'd like to give out a shout out to DJ M, Karen S, Lisa G, and Patricia S. Thank you so much for being loyal subscribers. I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with somebody who you think might enjoy crocheting with a double-ended hook. Bye.